Yo, 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 what is up, YouTube? BK Brad Kellner. Today is Thursday, August 19th, 2021. Hope everyone's having a great day. Hope everyone's having a great week. Tomorrow is Friday. Almost there. Almost there. It's been a while since I've posted a video to this channel. Apologies for that. As you can tell by the title of the video, going to give a life update, going to provide an update on this channel, and also we'll talk some Texas football as well. I'll provide an update on the Texas quarterback competition that is ongoing right now in Austin. So first and foremost, starting with me, and look, if you follow me on social media, you probably already know this, but for those of you who just consume my content on YouTube, wondering where the hell I've been or what's been going on with me, I recently accepted a job in Houston. I'm now co-hosting the afternoon drive show at ESPN 97.5 and 92.5 in H-Town. The name of the show is The Wheelhouse. It's myself, it's Jake Asman, it's Cody Stutes. So the show started on Monday. I actually moved from Austin to Houston last weekend, had a week to kind of get settled in. As y'all can see behind me, there's still a bunch of crap that I have to unpack. So still some work to do, still trying to get accustomed to this new city. But yeah, moved last weekend, had a week to kind of get things figured out. And then the show started this week on Monday. So show's going great. We'll obviously get better with time. But if you guys want to check that out, you can listen online, ESPN975.com. It's on Twitch as well. And there's an app too. So if you're curious what the show sounds like, if you're a Houston sports fan and you want to check it out, please do so. Plenty of ways to listen. So excited about that. Obviously, my time at the Horn was tremendous. Nothing but high praise for the folks at the Horn in Austin. My last 5 years there were tremendous. I met some of my best friends, some incredible people, and I will always hold a special place in my heart for the Horn and Austin Radio Network. And of course, meeting you guys over the years was tremendous. It was an honor to meet you guys over the years, and I really appreciate all of y'all's support and you guys listening and consuming any of my content, whether it was on air, whether it was through podcasts, whether it was on Twitch, on Twitter, on YouTube, whatever. You guys mean the world to me, and y'all made it a tough decision. So appreciate the love over the years in Austin. I won't be a stranger. I'm 2.5 hours away. I'll be up there a lot. I'll definitely make it back for some UT football games this year. Hopefully get out to left field a time or two for some baseball games. And shoot, this basketball team could be a preseason top 5 team this year. So I'll find my way to the Flan for the final year at the Irwin Center. So I won't be a stranger. I ask you guys to not be a stranger as well. But excited, great opportunity here in Houston. Love the way the show's gone so far. I know that it's only going to get better with time. So there's a little bit of a life update. That's why I haven't been posting videos recently. Moving is a B. You guys probably know that. Everyone's moved at some point in their lives. Moving sucks, and it's still, as you could tell, kind of ongoing. So trying to get things figured out here in Houston. Obviously had to do the packing and unpacking thing. So apologies for the delay in posting any videos. But a channel update, I plan on getting back into the YouTube grind for sure. I still plan on releasing Longhorn content. I don't want to completely neglect you guys just because I'm not in Austin anymore, just because I'm not covering UT quite as much as I was covering UT during my time at the Horn. I'm still going to follow UT. I'm still going to cover the University of Texas. And I know you guys, still care about my thoughts on all things Longhorns, which I really, really appreciate. So this channel, there will be some Houston sports content on here from time to time, but we'll focus primarily on the Longhorns on this channel. So I will get back into the swing of things. I will get back into posting multiple videos every single week, and hopefully doing a live chat every week as well, just presenting Longhorn content, talking all things Longhorns, whatever you guys want to discuss. So I'm staying abreast. It's a great word. With all things UT, and this channel, once again, it will become active again, and we'll talk plenty of Texas football, basketball, and baseball, and whatever the hell is going on the 40 acres. So there's that life update, channel update, and once again, the show in Houston. We'll talk some Texas stuff down here. Funny enough, ESPN 97.5 and 92.5 actually carries A&M games here in Houston. So I'm going for from the Longhorn station to the Aggie station, which is kind of hilarious. Don't worry, not switching sides or anything like that. We'll still talk plenty of college football, plenty of college sports, but obviously being in Houston, Texans, Astros, and then once basketball season gets here, the Rockets, those will be big big topics of conversation. So I won't be able to talk as much Longhorns on the show, so I'm going to need to fill that void here on this YouTube channel. Also, a few of y'all have been asking about the 1-0 podcast that I do with Joe Cook of Inside Texas. That has been on hiatus, of course, with the move going on, but that's coming back. I'm hoping to record an episode with Joe tomorrow, and we will post that. So appreciate y'all caring about that. Number one, appreciate you guys reaching out, trying to figure out what's going on. But yeah, the YouTube channel, we'll get back in action, and the 1-0 podcast will return as well. Less than a month away from the start of the Steve Sarkisian era. Exciting times on the 40 acres. Plenty of content regarding the Texas Longhorns. So there's that life update, channel update. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the support. Got a ton of y'all reaching out. I had a ton of y'all reaching out to me when I posted on social media that I was leaving Austin and taking this job in Houston, and that means the world to me. So thank you guys for everything. Once again, please don't be a stranger. All right, let's talk a little bit of Texas football here, and obviously upcoming videos will not include live updates or channel updates, so you won't have to worry about that killing any time. But let's talk some Texas football. Of course, the number one question facing this Texas football team as we sit a couple of weeks away from the season opener against Louisiana, who's going to be the quarterback? Who is going to win this quarterback competition? Will it be Casey Thompson? Will it be Hudson Card, who trots the Longhorns onto the field against the Ragin' Cajuns on September 4th? The first scrimmage of fall camp took place last weekend, and Steve Sarkisian wasn't shy about his thoughts on the quarterbacks. He did not have high praise for the way the quarterbacks played during the scrimmage on Saturday. He was very disappointed with the performance of both Casey Thompson and Hudson Card over the weekend. Here is a quote from Steve Sarkisian's press conference on Tuesday. So this is after the scrimmage. He was able to go back and watch some tape from that first scrimmage, and here's what he had to say about the two quarterbacks. He said, quote, "They performed really well for that first week of camp, and then when the scrimmage came, they kind of veered off from some of the fundamentals, techniques, reads, decision-making that had gotten them to that point. And that was probably the biggest thing for me that was a disappointment, was just trusting what you had done to build for that moment and then continue to do it. The positive is, I would probably say the last 2 days of practice have been their best 2 days of camp. That's the positive. They took the coaching." So Steve Sarkisian, some praise for Casey Thompson and Hudson Card, said they had a great first week of camp before the scrimmage over the weekend, but then said, yeah, they weren't the same guys that we saw in practice as they were during the scrimmage on Saturday. And look, a scrimmage is still not a game, but that's the closest thing to a game that you can get in fall camp. It's disappointing to hear that both of those quarterbacks underperformed last Saturday. You know, what happens in practice doesn't matter. What happens on Saturdays in the fall are what is going to determine how Texas fares here in 2021. Loved hearing that. The first couple of days of practice this week was better for Casey Thompson and Hudson Card. They responded to the coaching. They probably knew on their own. They probably didn't need Steve Sarkisian and Kyle Flood and AJ Milwee to tell them that they sucked on Saturday. If they sucked, those guys are smart. They probably figured it out. They probably realized they had some work to do. And it sounds like over the last couple of days, they've done a good job with that. Now, there was an open practice at DKR yesterday, and from the practice reports that I've read from some of the people that I've talked to who attended the practice, apparently Casey Thompson was a little bit inaccurate early on, struggled hitting open receivers. I mean, even against air, he was struggling hitting the Texas receivers yesterday, and Hudson Card looked a little bit sharper early, and then Casey Thompson kind of settled in and looked like the Casey Thompson that I think Texas fans are used to seeing, or at least hoping to see this year. Some of the other reports about the quarterbacks right now, apparently Casey Thompson is struggling with interceptions. Like, Casey Thompson is throwing more picks than Hudson Card, and Hudson Card is taking more sacks than Casey Thompson is. You know, still a transition for both of these guys, trying to learn a new offense, of course. But for Hudson Card, look, he threw 3 passes last year. He barely has any college experience. He's only been on campus for 1 year, while Casey Thompson has been here for 3 years and is accustomed to being a student athlete, and obviously got a lot more game experience last year, especially with that second half performance in the Alamo Bowl. So the transition timing wise for Hudson Card, it makes sense that might be taking a little bit longer. Hudson Card just trying to figure out that internal clock and figure out when he needs to get rid of the ball. So obviously some growing pains for both of those guys, but that seems to be the word on the street, that Casey Thompson struggling more with the interceptions. and Hudson Card at this moment struggling more with sacks. But it sounds like Hudson Card is doing a pretty good job, guys, and maybe closing the gap between these two quarterbacks. Obviously, Steve Sarkisian has said since the moment he got here that this is going to be a quarterback competition. He has not really hinted to Casey Thompson or Hudson Card having the lead in this quarterback competition. I did think it was noteworthy that Casey Thompson started the spring game with the ones, and Hudson Card did not get any reps with the ones. I thought at the time that was maybe telling for where Steve Sarkisian was with the quarterback competition, but that was in April. We're now in August. Obviously, a lot of time for Hudson Card to improve. And from the practice reports I'm reading, Hudson Card is getting just as many reps with the ones as Casey Thompson is at this point. One more quote from Steve Sarkisian. He was asked on Tuesday about a timeline or a timetable for when he's going to make this quarterback decision. He said, quote, "I haven't put a timeline on it. I thought about that, and I always talk to these kids in recruiting, and they're going to make a commitment on this date in recruiting, right? But then that date comes, and they're not ready to sign, but they've already said this is the date I'm making my commitment. They don't really know where they're going, and then they make an irrational decision." So basically comparing it to recruits, right? Recruits will set a commitment date, then that day gets there, and sometimes they'll push it back, or sometimes they'll commit somewhere and end up decommitting. So start kind of making that comparison. He followed it up by saying, quote, "Going with your gut means when it feels right. For me, the actual date is the first game. Somebody's got to run out there on September 4th to take the snaps with the starting offense when we take the field. Ideally, I'd like to make a decision before that, but there's no exact date on that for that to happen. It's when it's going to feel right. When it's that time, we'll talk to both guys and we'll go after it," end quote. So not a lot there from Sark, not really giving you an exact date, not giving you anything close to a date. The only date he mentioned in that quote was September 4th. I think we're going to have an answer before September 4th. Whether it's the week of the game, whether it's 2 weeks before the game, I think Sark is going to let the locker room know, and I think we'll know as a general public who the quarterback is going to be when the Longhorns take the field against Louisiana. I don't think it's going to be one of those Tom Herman-esque depth chart things where we have an or. Remember that? Tom Herman did that a ton, not just with quarterback, but with any position where he'd put or this guy or that guy when he didn't want to tell people who the starter was going to be. I don't think we're going to have to deal with that with Steve Sarkisian with this quarterback battle. I do think we'll get an answer before the first offensive series of the game against Louisiana, but it might be the Friday before the game. It might be the Monday before the game. I'm not entirely sure. And it sounds like Steve Sarkisian hasn't made up his own mind on when he is going to make that decision. But once again, I mean, Hudson Card taking more and more first-team reps. Casey Thompson getting more reps with the twos. That was happening some in spring. It seems to be happening more this fall. So I still think it's going to be Casey Thompson. I've had that take for a number of months. I think Sark's going to go with the veteran. The question at that point becomes the leash question, right? How long of a leash does Casey Thompson have? Is it 2 weeks? Is it 2 quarters? Is it 2 series? You know, what happens on September 4th if, hell, it doesn't matter who gets the start. If the guy who gets the start struggles, like how long does Steve Sarkisian stick with that guy? Louisiana's a good team, starting the year ranked in the top 25 in both the AP and coaches polls. We know how good they've been over the last couple of years. Billy Napier's a hell of a coach. Sark obviously does not want to lose that game. Doesn't want to start his coaching tenure here in Austin with the loss, especially to a non-Power 5 team. So the least question obviously becomes an important one. But interesting to see Hudson Card getting more reps with the ones. It sounds like he is closing the gap on this quarterback competition, and he's starting to turn heads, which is no surprise. The kid's unbelievably talented. You figured he would get better with time, and it sounds like he progressed a lot over the summer. And it's funny. It depends on who you ask. The people who cover this team, the people who know more about this team than anybody, some of them will tell you Casey Thompson. Some of them will tell you Hudson Card as the better of the two right now. So it'll be fascinating to watch this thing unfold as we inch closer and closer to kickoff, guys. 2 weeks from Saturday. Unbelievable. 2 weeks from Saturday, football season is here. So that's going to do it for this video. Appreciate y'all watching. Appreciate the continued love and support, guys. Y'all mean the world to me. I can't thank you enough for everything you did for me during my time in Austin. 5 years at the Horn, a year at the Zone. Hell, some of y'all even listened to KVRX, the student-run radio station at UT, when I was still in school. So appreciate all of y'all for the continued support. Once again, the new show, The Wheelhouse, ESPN 97.5 and 92.5 in Houston. I'd love for y'all to check that out if you can. And once again, this channel will get back up and running, talking plenty of UT sports. The 1-0 podcast will make a return as well. But what else? What else? Last Stand Hats, the video sponsor. You've seen their discount code, or my discount code, scrolling across the bottom of your screen throughout this video. BK10 at checkout for 10% off your purchase of any Last Stand hats. I think that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you all again for watching. Thanks for the love and support. Please like this video. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so yet. Until next time, y'all stay safe, y'all stay healthy, and hook 'em.